Parashat Vaera, Diktuk u'Masoret HaMikra. This particular parasha has many illustrations of the use of Vav HaHipuch in the Torah. Vav HaHipuch is a function which is only found in the Tanakh for the addition of a Vav before a verb in order to change the tense of the verb, either from future tense to past tense, or vice versa, from past tense to future tense. So either from avar le'atid or atid le'avar. The function is only, and as I said, only used in the Tanakh, mainly in the Torah, but it's used also in the Tanakh itself, in Nevi'im Ketuvim, but it's not used at all in modern Hebrew. Not in speaking, in conversational Hebrew, and not in the writing of Hebrew, of modern Hebrew. The use of this type of Vav is different from another type of Vav that's called Vav HaHibur, which is the addition of a Vav before a verb to signify the word and, a conjunction. It is very important to know when the Vav before a verb is either a Vav HaHipuch or Vav HaHibur. For many verbs, but not all, this can be determined by the placement of the ta'am or the trope on the word itself. Mispronouncing a verb with a Vav in front of it, if it's a Vav HaHipuch and it's mispronounced, it can lead to an erroneous interpretation of the word. And if the Baal Koreh is reading Sefer Torah, has to be corrected. The simplest example of a Vav HaHibur is found in this week's parasha in the first word, Vaidaber. Vaidaber Elokim, Vaidaber. The basic verb of the word is Yedaber, which means in the future tense, he will speak. When a Vav is placed in front of Yedaber, it becomes Vaidaber. The meaning is, he spoke. Vaidaber Elokim, God spoke, is translated that way properly. There is no and here. There's no conjunction. The Vav is a Vav HaHipuch, which comes to change the tense of the verb Yedaber from future, which is Yedaber, to past, Vaidaber. It is not a Vav HaHibur. Translating it, these words as and God spoke is incorrect and has to be corrected at all, changed. Further in the Perek, the Pesukim from Vav through Het, we encounter a set of verbs that introduce the Vav HaHipuch ahead of them to change the tense from past tense to future tense, from avar le'atid. These verbs are known as Arba Leshonot Geula, and they're in a whole section in those Pesukim. And some will add a fifth Lashon Geula, which is now to be called then Hamisha Leshonot Geula, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu transmitted through Moshe Rabbeinu to Am Yisrael. So those were the words that HaKadosh Baruch Hu transmitted through Moshe to Am Yisrael to let them know that they were going to leave Egypt and eventually come to Eretz Yisrael. The Pesukim begin as follows, Lachen emor, and then the verbs are introduced one by one afterwards. Velakahti, vega'alti, vehitzalti, vehotzeti, and the additional fifth Lashon Geula, veheveti. So one is, I will take, I will redeem, I will save, I will have them have them leave, and also bring them to Eretz Yisrael. For all of these verbs, the Vav changes the tense from past to future. As an example, from Hotzeti, I brought, to Vehotzeti, I will bring. From Hotzeti, the past tense, I brought, to Vehotzeti, I will bring. The same thing with the others. Vehitzalti, I will save. Hitzalti, I saved in the past tense. V'hitzalti, I will save. The ta'am, the trope on all of these words is always on the last syllable of the word. The pronunciation is always on the last syllable. So, therefore, they are pronounced Vega'alti, V'hitzalti, V'hotzeti, V'lakahti, V'heveti. The emphasis is always on the last syllable, and this is called milera. That the pronunciation is called milera, it's always on the last syllable. If we mispronounce the words and place the emphasis on an earlier syllable, which is now would be called mile'el, instead of the last syllable, milera, a previous syllable, let's say one before the end or two before the end, in the small word with two syllables, the first syllable, that's called mile'el. The meaning of the verb is totally changed if you read the word mile'el instead of milera. So, if, for example, if we read the word vehotzeti, not on the last syllable, but vehotzeti, mile'el, the meaning of the word is changed. That now it means vehotzeti, and I took you out. The vav is not a vav hahipuch, it's vav hahibur. It's a conjunction, the conjunction and. And the verb is in the past tense. And I took you out. It's not in the future tense. Therefore, it's a mistake. All the other leshonot follow the same in the same way. They all must be pronounced with the emphasis on milela, on the last syllable. Pronouncing mile'el on a syllable before the last syllable will change the tense, in this case, from past tense to future tense, from future tense to past tense, and introduce the conjunction and, which is incorrect. It's not a vav hibur. If you introduce the and, it would sound like and be interpreted as a vav hibur. In the Kriyat Shema, as another example, many make the mistake of pronouncing the word v'dibarta bam, which it should be pronounced on the last syllable, because the vav is a vav hibur. They pronounce it as v'dibarta bam. So instead of you will speak, v'dibarta bam, you will speak about them, it's v'dibarta bam, and you spoke about them. And this is incorrect. So therefore, one has to be very careful when reading Kriyat Shema, not just from the Torah, but even in the Tefillah. You're supposed to say it with ta'amim. You should be saying v'dibarta bam. There are other forms of the verbs where the function of vav hipuch doesn't apply in the same way, and which I will comment on as we encounter them in the future parashiot.